Whoa!
What's up? All right, this is the first episode of The Story Continues cast. So, of course, for this first episode, I had to bring my boy Night Sky, my boy Esteban, Steven, the man that came with me to WrestleMania 40 in his hometown, WrestleMania. That's why they got the bell and shit on all the merch. I'm not a fan
Eagles
of
colors. Eagles colors.
But just a basic introduction. This podcast was started because we were so inspired after going to WrestleMania 40. We saw Cody Rhodes finish the story. But the story isn't over. The story continues. That's the inspiration behind this podcast. I'm such a passionate wrestling fan. I wish I was a wrestler with these skinny ass wrists. Been such a passionate wrestling fan since 2005, and my boy Night Sky actually just got into it, so we're gonna dive into that a little deeper later on. But this podcast is here. This is episode 1, and today's main focus is to talk all about WrestleMania 40 that just happened 1 week ago today. We are filming this on Sunday, a week after the story was finished. Hopefully the podcast goes up tonight. Might be a day or two late, but we figured, give ourselves a week to decompress, get back into society, and then talk. I did a long intro. My boy, right off the bat, I just need to know, how was your first ever not even just WrestleMania, but your first ever wrestling event?
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing, right? So yeah, Matt RDK here is right, absolutely right. I just got into wrestling WWE literally probably around the start of the year, because he teased the idea. He said, "Hey, WrestleMania 40 is the biggest one ever. It's gonna be in Philly. Gonna see who the main title card is. Because it was right when The Rock came back and said, Roman Reigns, I choose you. I want to fight against you." And people were like, "What the hell? What's going on?" So he was like, "Well, let's see what happens. If it's gonna be Cody, then I'll go. If it's gonna be Rock, then I'll stay back." And it turns out Cody said, "No, I'm gonna finish my story." And he's like, "I'm coming to Philly," and I'm said,
"Hell
fuck
yeah.
it, let's go. I'll go with him." So I mean, I had a same amount of prep time to learn everything, but the first time, just being there, I think the atmosphere was unbelievable, because not only was I with you, but I was also with a crap ton of other fans of the WWE universe. And it was surreal. All the cool pop-offs, all the introductions, all the finishers, whatever. It was just so cool being in person there and being able to experience it with everyone else. So really great time. I'm really glad I tagged along, essentially.
Hell yeah, man. And I think that's the beauty of wrestling. I feel with me being a fan for almost 2 decades now, which is crazy. That's just making me sound old. But you can get into it, within a month or two and be passionate about it. When you first were getting into it, I was like, he's just gonna show up. He'll be that sports guy that just tagged along because it's right in his city. But you were passionate about it, man. You knew all the people. You knew Becky Lynch. You knew Mommy Rhea Ripley. You knew Cody.
Yeah,
you knew Roman. Yes, sir. You knew the Wise Man, the Glazer, Paul Heyman. You knew every single guy, and I was happy. I was finally, one of my boys, they finally got into wrestling, and they just understand. They understand why I pop off so much, why I'm so addicted to it. Like you spoke on it, man. That atmosphere at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly was crazy, especially for the main event. The final 6 minutes, man.
We're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be a whole dedicated segment to that. But just to build off of what you said there too, it's interesting because, I've said it before too. These last few-ish years, I've really gotten back into sports, especially Philly sports. I mean, Mannequin's got the Philly hat on. The Phillies hat. I got some Eagles hats lying around. I'm wearing a Joel Embiid Sixers jersey.
Get that out.
I probably have a Flyers thing somewhere that's gathering dust as we speak. But it's crazy how it all kind of happens so fast. And honestly, it's kind of interesting to look at it this way. I feel like the next step in getting back into sports and whatever is to get possibly into pro wrestling, I should say.
Yes.
And honestly, WWE was right there, and I think it makes most sense because I've seen clips. We know how famous The Rock and John Cena and all these other people have been since forever, since as long as wrestling's been a thing. And to be a part of it, I think is one thing, but to be able to kind of learn the history of it all, because I like learning a lot about whether it's like a sports player or competitor or whatever, and just kind of seeing all the stories that are coming into this big thing and all like the plots, all the plot twists,
the story.
Exactly, right? So I think it was right up my alley. Honestly, it surprised the hell out of my parents that I just got into it so fast too. They're like, "What? Like you're watching wrestling now?" I said, "Hey man, it was something else." And honestly, they watched WrestleMania too. I think you said they were talking with you about it the next day, and they were saying like they were so amazed by it, especially just all like the crazy moments that happened. So I think it's cool to see that it's starting to kind of peak back up again now. People are finding out about it and they're getting interested. The story's great. Triple H is cooking, like in full honesty.
Let him cook, man. Let Hunter.
Oh my God.
Cook.
He's doing some phenomenal work already, and just seeing how all the wrestlers are just praising him for his efforts and how they believe he is the new face of this new era. It's really cool, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen this upcoming year.
For sure, man. And like that's another cool thing is, again, with you just getting into it, it's not like a show. Like it's not like a Netflix show where they're on like season 4, it's getting all the hype, I have to go rewatch everything. Yeah, it's cool. Like I've been a fan since 2005. It's cool that I've seen like John Cena's journey up to becoming the star he is now. It's cool that I've seen Undertaker before he was a legend. It's cool that I saw this and that, but it's not required. You don't have to be watching wrestling 24/7. And even nowadays, leading up to WrestleMania 40, I wasn't watching WWE every single day. It's a lot of content, man. You got Raw, which is 3 hours every Monday. You got NXT, which is, I want to say, an hour, maybe 2 hours every Tuesday. You got this new show, WWE Speed, I guess, which is on YouTube.
I did see that, yeah.
That's going. You have AEW on Wednesday. Then you have hey, I like AEW. You got
all empty wrestling.
He's on the hate bandwagon. You got SmackDown on Fridays. Like my point being is like there is like 10 to 15 hours of content of wrestling per week. That's intimidating for someone that also might be a baseball fan, a football fan, not into sports at all. Maybe you only like gaming or anime or makeup or cooking or hiking, whatever your interests are. Like it's very intimidating to be like, oh, I gotta get into 15 hours of wrestling a week. That's way too heavy of a commitment. I've been keeping up with just clips. I see The Rock whipping on Cody Rhodes. I watch it. I consume it. It takes like 3 minutes of my time. I'm ready for WrestleMania 40. You don't have to watch the full show. And I think that's the cool thing about Knight getting into wrestling so late, but also not late. Like he was just able to pick it right up, you know? And it was the same thing with your parents. They said, especially your mom. Your mom was like, first off, it was so cool like when the Undertaker appeared, which again we'll talk about later, the whole main event. She's like, just the presence, the aura, like the vibe, like that was so cool. But the one thing that stuck with me that your mom has said like to this day, a week later, was just how WrestleMania took over the city. You had the banners, you had the crowd, you had just the wrestling culture. Like, I don't know if your mom knew specifically, but I've been telling a couple people, WWE wasn't the only wrestling in Philadelphia that week. There was also like a WrestleCon, there was an ECW show, there were wrestlers from all over. Some AEW people were at WrestleMania. I saw Ricky Starks cheering on Cody Rhodes when he finished the story. Like, just the culture took over, and I'm sure you can speak on it a lot more than me because I'm not a Philadelphia boy, but like, no, I'm sure like you saw it, man. Like,
yeah, you hit it on the nail on the head. Because like for me, like as a Philly fan, like I always will see people in like, you know, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, you know, wearing, sometimes Union, like wearing their jerseys and their hats loud and proud. But like she was right, like literally there was, no matter where you looked, like because we went to Geno's on the WrestleMania Sunday, we got some Philly cheeses before we went down to the stadium. There's people there. There was people at the train station. There's people near in like in the downtown area, down in South Philly. There's like people everywhere. Even like a couple days afterwards when I was working, I saw a woman. She had a stand and deliver. Nice. I guess like tank top or something. I asked like, oh, did you go? She's like, yeah, but my son. She said her son went to SmackDown, to Night 1, Night 2, and Monday Night Raw. and as well as Stand Deliver. I'm
That
like,
boy got
like,
money. That boy
I'm
got
like,
money.
like, wait, can I go? Can I please go? Yeah, right. So, but yeah, like just to see the city transform like that too. It's something I haven't seen honestly in a while. Just because last time I saw it probably was, well, you see it around like every time like a team's in a playoff mode or like it's a really big season. But it's, for a huge gathering, especially was when the Eagles won the Super Bowl back in 2018 against the Patriots. But like to see the city just come out and all unified, wearing all their Eagles green, it was just phenomenal. Hopefully that happens soon again with one of our other teams. But just to kind of get a glimpse of how big of an impact WWE and WrestleMania has, because there was, and the other thing too, there were people who weren't even from Philly that were there. There was people who were, you know, I saw someone wearing like a couple. We saw some Boston Red Sox jerseys. I saw some Pittsburgh Penguins. I think I even saw someone. I think was it there somewhere who had like the sign that said they came from Korea to see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was at the Pat McAfee show, which we'll talk about that later too.
The Pat
That's
McAfee
what
show,
I'm
there was also someone that said like, I came from Chile. Just
Oh,
to see
Chile,
John
Chile, yeah,
Cena.
that's what it was. Yeah. So like just to see the reach of it, it was something that was really cool to see too. And one more thing too, just to kind of piggyback off of what you said about like watching clips rather than just the whole episode or each show, whatever. I think it's a lot easier to kind of take in rather than just kind of just sitting there the whole time with commercials in between.
Yeah.
But a big part of that also is, you know, social media, because my timeline now is probably filled with a bunch of wrestling stuff, thanks to this last week. But even then, like, you'll see clips of like what happened on Raw or SmackDown, like instantly. Like you'll see like, oh, like look at this. You see Cody getting his face beat the fuck in by The Rock, and he's like, oh, look at you now, boy.
Mama Rhodes.
Hey, calm down, Mama Rhodes. Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like, it's so cool to see like the internet react to things like that, like all at the same time too. So really cool. And you're right. Like, I picked the perfect time to get into wrestling. I think this, like I said before, this news story is gonna be really cool. And yeah, what can I say?
Oh yeah,
it's epic.
man. I mean, you picked like the perfect time, because not only was it WrestleMania 40, like a milestone year, milestone event. Not only was it in your city of Philadelphia, so like all the merch is literally the hat you're wearing is oriented as the Phillies hat. The hat I'm wearing got this big ass, ugly ass Liberty Bell on it.
No.
Not only all of that, but like it was. You just knew it. Like, you know, after last year's WrestleMania 39, like when Cody just got defeated, you knew some history was going down at WrestleMania 40. It's the Renaissance era. It's Triple H's era. New shit was coming, and I just had it in my gut feeling. I said, the second they announced Cody versus Roman, night 2, we are buying tickets. We bought tickets, and I have no regrets. That was literally one of the best nights of my life. Like, for the rest of our lives now, if our children get into wrestling, if other online friends, IRL friends get into wrestling, you can always say and have that bragging right that you were there to see Cody Rhodes finish the story at WrestleMania 40. When I look back on WWE wrestling, there's only like certain key moments. Like, I know a big one is like WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan won the title. Numerous times where Cena won a title, that was memorable. But like, you can count on maybe 2 hands like the most significant moments in wrestling. Cody Rhodes winning is up there, and we were there
for sure.
And I remember when the event had ended, you had asked me, you said, you ready to go? And I said, let me soak this in. Like, I just had to take it in, man. Like, everyone was on their way out. The security guard had to tell Knight and I to leave, because I knew it as such a long time wrestling fan. Like, I had just seen history. You had the Undertaker. That's the Mr. WrestleMania right there. You had John Cena, the whole bloodline out there. Jey Uso, Shield, Seth Rollins. Cinema, man. Thank you, Triple H, for a great event. And, you know, I feel like that main event definitely overshadowed the rest of the night, but that whole night was good, man. Damian Priest cashing in. You bought the shirt for Seth and Drew.
Yeah, it's hanging up in the closet right now, but I got the WrestleMania hat instead. But yeah, like, honestly, the entire night, we could talk about that now too if you want. Just like the list of like of matches that went on, because that's interesting. Like, how I noticed like kind of like how they divvy it up. Like, because they have, you know, I'm glad they're doing a 2-night format now. I remember I was looking up stuff and it used to be a 1 night, but imagine how long that night would have been if they tried to cram everything in there. It would have been terrible. But I'm really glad that like they kind of divvy it up so that way there's more excitement building to it, because as he alluded to before, we watched the night one together while it was live on Peacock, and we watched the tag team match. It was crazy just seeing, you know, Seth and Cody walk out, and then all of a sudden you see Roman and Rock, they're out here, and then they start going at it. Really cool. And then to see like them lose and be like, ah, crap, it's Bloodline Rules tomorrow. Like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? And then spend the entire day next day like trying to figure out like, oh, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do this, this is what's gonna happen. But like the night itself, like we got off to a great start because the first match, like you said, it was Seth versus Drew McIntyre, and what a moment for Damian Priest to cash in. People are memeing about it, but I said like it was second, you know. Drew started looking over at CM Punk after he won. By the way, I'm glad CM Punk is you know, back in and doing whatever, or back in, you know, main spot. Like, of course, there's some stuff that's going on, but like, you know, who cares? But I'm just glad he's back. But the second he looked over at CM Punk and then they start beefing, and all of a sudden they like, you know, takes his leg off the table and then takes off his cast and starts beating him with it, and they're like, oh shit, what's going on? All of a sudden, Damian Priest music starts playing and he's just like running down. I'm like, oh my god, oh. Really, really cool moment.
Hell yeah. That's like Money in the Bank cash-ins are also another thing you can count on like two hands, man. You got like, I'm trying to think, there was a Dolph Ziggler cash-in. I know Big E cashed in Boston actually. That was a couple years ago. I was not there because I wasn't watching WWE at the time. But he cashed in, and then like I said, Seth had
Seth's
like,
cash-in was crazy.
The heist of the century, okay?
Yeah.
But not only can we now say that we saw Cody finish the story, but we also got to see a Money in the Bank cash-in to start the night. Damian Priest will always be there, and it was damn good. I'm a Judgment Day fan, but I'm not necessarily a Damian Priest fan. I'm much more of a Finn Balor fan. I'm much more of a Finn Balor, and honestly, I'm a Dominic Mysterio fan. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really a big Damian Priest fan. But just that Money in the Bank concept, it was actually getting hated on a lot. They're like, this shit sucks. Like, it's old. Like, it doesn't create hype anymore. Nah, that Money in the Bank cash-in got me a hype. I remember that was the first instance of the night where I was popping off and jumping. And there were many more instances to follow after that. But the Damian Priest cash-in for sure was a highlight. And it was just a feel-good moment. Then you got all the Judgment Day up on the stage. The crowd's
cheering with him,
Yep. Definitely a strong way to start the night. What was the match after that? It was,
I believe it was the
Philly Street Fight.
Yeah, okay. It was Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament, right?
Final Testament, yes. I didn't even remember their names, so God bless.
I mean, it was they did some crazy ass shit though, like you know, you see, or. Yeah, I guess that was the next one, or it might be the ladder match. That's what I'm thinking of.
The ladder match was night one though.
Was it?
Yeah, we didn't see a ladder match.
When they got the... Oh, you're right. Sorry.
He's tweaking. He's still sick. He's still got that WrestleMania sickness.
No, but you're right. It was the street fight. That was cool though. Yeah. See all the acrobatics and everything. And then after that, it was the...
it might have been LA versus AJ.
LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Yeah.
Then it was the triple threat. Then it was Bayley. Then it was Cody. So.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
LA Knight versus AJ was good. This is actually a great point to talk about this though, because around that 6-man tag and the LA Knight match. So Damian Priest cashes in. It's still bright out and warm. It's nice. And I remember when Stephanie McMahon had come out, she was like, "Thank God, night 2 is nicer and warmer. Thank God." The first off, just spoiler alert, as the night goes on, we're freezing. We are freezing. But my point that I'm trying to make here is that first match with Damian, it was still bright out. By the time the street fight and AJ and LA Knight was happening, it started getting darker. They had these spotlights that were just this is, for anyone watching the visual podcast right now, this is your view of the ring. Like where my face is the ring. They have spotlights right here, so it's just blocking it. And you can see like a quarter of the ring. So you literally have to watch the Jumbotron. And if you go back I rewatched WrestleMania Night 2 because I was just still off that high. If you watch the LA Knight AJ Styles match, there are multiple instances where you can hear the crowd cheering, "Oh, please turn the lights off," or then "We can't see, we can't see."
Just like different variations of that, and the points they actually did, and they hear the loudest pop up ever. Like, and I saw there's a couple comments like when I see on TikToks of like people who were like in the crowd, like they were filming a certain moment. There are comments like, "Oh, I was wondering what that big pop off was." Like the most random moment during like LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Yeah. And it was the crowd and all of us being so hyped that they finally shut off these lights that were like blinding us.
Yeah.
Because it got dark, and yeah, he's right. Like those lights kind of obstructed our views. So I'm glad they were able to do that. And as a quick side note too, the seats that we did get were really nice. Like all things considered, yeah, it could be considered nosebleeds, but got a great view of the stage, got a great view of the actual ring and like the little tent above it, and as well as like some screens. When we were initially thinking of getting seats, we thought, hey, why don't we get the seats, kind of behind the stage? They're the cheapest. You might as well go for it. Nah. We looked over and we saw literally like you couldn't see anything behind it, and we were like, there were people there who were like, oh my god, I feel so bad for them. And that's where the lights were kind of coming from too, was right from them. So you probably couldn't even see anything if you were sitting in that section. So dodged a bullet. Feel bad for those people, but we had a great time. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I've told multiple people since coming back. Everyone's asking, I'll be wearing the WrestleMania hat, or I just had told people I was going to WrestleMania. They're like, how are the seats? Could you see? And I'm like, honestly, yeah. Like, the pictures don't do it justice. Like, if you look at the pictures that Knight and I took, that ring looks far away, okay? Like, I get it. The pictures, they make it look like we're sitting with Dusty Rhodes, which we were. We were sitting with Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. But in person, like it was good, man. Like I remember getting into a seats and I was holy shit. Like I was impressed. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to see anything. I just wanted to go just for the atmosphere, to hear the crowd roar, but I wasn't expecting to actually get to watch WrestleMania. But I did find myself at least maybe honestly 60% of the time maybe watching from the screen above the ring. Yeah. But you could watch the ring comfortably. If you wear glasses and didn't have glasses on, yeah, you're probably not going to see anything. But, at least for me, I got that fresh LASIK, so I could see crystal clear. The seats were good, and we had a good crowd around us, seat-wise. I don't remember our exact area. If anyone's watching and you happen to have sat in our area, it may have been like 304. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that kind of top right area.
But I've been to a lot of sporting events where there's like a heckler like right next to you, or there's like someone just talking to the whole thing. Like, nah, our group was like chill. Like it was pretty cool. So I was very happy about that. It was a good group of people, and the cool thing about wrestling is like let's use the main event as an example, which I don't want to talk too much about the main event because we're gonna get there. But as an example, the girl sitting directly to my right was a Roman Reigns fan. Like I remember we were cheering, "Let's go Cody," and she would go, "Let's go Roman." By the end, when Cody wins, it's like everyone's just giving Cody his due. That's the cool thing about wrestling is like even if you cheer or boo somebody, you still will respect them, or at least like.
Oh, we have to
finish.
We have to acknowledge him. We have to
acknowledge. You'll acknowledge it. You'll acknowledge it, and that's exactly what we did. Even though Knight and I were cheering for Cody, we went to WWE World on Monday, which we also might be able to touch upon. We don't want to go too long in this podcast. Might be able to talk a little bit about WWE World, but we took a picture with the undisputed WWE title, and I was, you know what? He just lost it. Let's celebrate the reign. We threw up the one. We acknowledged the tribal chief. That picture is all over social media, and make sure y'all check it out. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in real quick before we continue talking about the match card and everything else. It was a really cool crowd, electric crowd. I'm very proud to say that I remember night one, Philadelphia crowd was getting trashed on social media.
I did see that.
And many people were like, night two, you guys showed up. Like, shout out to the Philly crowd. So
for sure.
Incredible atmosphere.
And it's funny you say that too, because I just remembered there was a match we forgot, which was the American Championship. Or the United States Championship, for Logan Paul, the triple threat, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. Yes. That was cool. That was also probably, that has to be like either my second or my third favorite match of the whole night, or probably the entire like weekend. Just because you know, I hate to say it, but Logan Paul does a really good job at making people hate him. But it works for this because, you know, if you're a heel in the WWE, then like people are gonna love you no matter what. Like you'll have maybe some haters, but like another thing too is he's just so athletic. Like he's able to make these jumps or like these like, you know, sprints, whatever. And it just looks so natural. So that fight against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens was really cool. And the biggest surprise out of all was, you know, Speed being the Prime bottle. And getting RKO'd by Randy Orton, which I thought was so funny and so cool to witness in person. And the other thing too, like you mentioned, like the crowd and how cool, how active it was. The thing for WWE I've noticed is that you'll literally start chanting anything.
Yep.
And like,
yeah,
literally, like, it's true. You got you got what, you got all that good stuff. But the funniest thing too is when it was during that fight, and of course Logan Paul owns Prime.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yep.
And people has Prime's in the center of the ring, which I mean, I'm glad it was just kind of like the outline, but it still looked kind of ugly. But during the match, whenever at random points, people would start chanting Gatorade, Gatorade, or Powerade, and I was just like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And they said Prime, or what they say, like Prime, or something like. Oh, they're like, oh, Prime tastes like shit, or something like that. And I was like, this is perfect. This is beautiful. So, like you said too, and going back to it, I love being part of that kind of crowd and that atmosphere too. Stuff that you know, we'll see at games depending on like what type of game it is, but like for something as big as WrestleMania, the entire crowd was in it. I'm glad Philly delivered on that second night.
100%,
really good.
100%. It's just so creative. Like, I know we talked about it earlier, but I just want to make one more point because I feel like I meant to and I just didn't get to it. But like, I'm a Boston sports fan. He's a Philadelphia sports fan. At the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots can only draw so much of a crowd because they're based in a region. Yeah, there's Patriots fans in Florida. Yeah, there's Philadelphia Eagles fans in California. But that's just because maybe they were born in Philly and moved, whatnot. Yeah. WWE is just like
universal.
So these crowds just get together, and like Knight had said earlier, you have people from Chile. I think they said all 50 states were represented, and like however many countries in addition.
It was 60 like countries, insane. Probably.
Yeah, like a high number. So you bring just like a melting pot of diversity, different backgrounds, different ages, all different languages, just together, and they just come up with the most creative shit, man. The most creative chants. Yeah. I think at one point, even in the Logan Paul match, we were chanting H2O. Who the hell chants for water?
H2O,
WWE
right?
fans chant for water, okay?
That's crazy. Which, by the way, make sure you guys drink your water today. I'm almost
done.
But great water.
Stay hydrated.
Of course.
And before we move on to the next match, I do just want to say, if anyone's listening, we were looking for I wanted to try Prime. Try Prime. There was apparently a special WrestleMania 40 bottle that was like on the turnbuckles, and I read a couple comments saying that Prime Station by like the pre-show when you first walk in, I don't know if they were giving away Prime bottles or selling them, but I guess like once they were out, they were out. So I mean, hey, if anyone's got a WrestleMania bottle you don't want, send it our way. Well, we'll take it. I'll
take it. Yeah. You know what? I've never tried Prime before too.
Never tried Prime.
Never tried it. And you know that might just be the only chance I get to. Other than that, not my cup of tea. I'll stick with my water. Thanks.
Facts.
And my Gatorade, of course.
Facts. Or Powerade or H2O.
True.
But next, I will say, if I'm in a 7-Eleven or a Walmart and I see Prime, I'm inclined to at least try it now after WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
You know. But we must move on. It was Bayley and Io Sky. I gotta say, man, that was a damn. First off, Bayley, congrats finishing her story. Io Sky also has one of my favorite entrances in wrestling. I think that theme song is just a banger. It was a damn good match. Like, they put on a good show. They were the only women's match of the night. So, I mean, they really got their moment to shine and be highlighted. And I also thought Bayley's entrance with the whole, like, Egyptian shit was really cool.
That was really cool. I like the wings and all. Apparently, I don't know if you saw, like, there's a clip like that, like Triple H actually like kind of like fixed her outfit for her,
really,
sure she was all ready to go. It was kind of cool. Yeah, I want to watch that whole like documentary they did, like like behind the scenes of WrestleMania
Yeah.
40. Like that looks really good, and like seeing them like talk about it and everything. So really, really cool. I will say though, I kind of wish I saw the women's matches from night one in person. Just seeing Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch go at it was really cool. By the way, apparently Becky Lynch had a fever while she was fighting.
Yeah, they
like,
said that a couple times.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, what you hear me? Whenever I get sick, I'm down for the count. Like, yeah, I'm cooked. But here's Becky Lynch out here, high fever apparently, and wrestling, defending or not defending, trying to get that title. So like insane that she did that. So props to her for that. And then the
Jade.
what's it called? The oh my.
Whoa.
Hey,
we're gonna go offline.
Hey, listen. I gotta say, Jade Cargill, welcome to WWE. Oh my gosh, crazy fight. Crazy. She's like, how tall is she? Like,
I don't know, man.
She's tall,
massive.
She's muscular. I'm just like, holy. You know what would be crazy? I would love to see her try to take a shot at Mommy.
Oh, yeah. Down the line.
That would be insane.
I think if anyone's going to beat Rhea Ripley, it has to be Jade Cargill.
Jade.
You heard it here first on The Story Continues cast.
Oh, yeah.
When Rhea Ripley loses, it would be to Jade Cargill. I don't see anyone else taking it off with Rhea Ripley.
No, I don't think, because, like, I mean, everyone else is probably going to go for Bailey, I imagine. Because what is it, next week? Or is it next week or is it at Backlash that Naomi's gonna challenge Bayley?
Oh, yes, I saw she did win. I don't remember when, but I do know we have a lot coming up, which is Backlash, a WWE draft, which we'll see how accurate that will actually be, because WWE always does this, where they do a draft, they'll stick to it for like 3 weeks, and then they're like, you know what, Kevin Owens, you can show up on Raw too. Jade Cargill, you can show up on both shows. They always do that. Yeah. So we'll see how accurate that is. But yeah, I think Naomi got a title shot. LA Knight and AJ Styles will be fighting to see who gets the shot at Cody, which my prediction is going to be AJ this time around. I think they gave Knight the Mania win, but AJ gets the crack at Cody.
I think that's fair, yeah. Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but AJ fought Dusty Rhodes.
Yes, I saw the picture
a while ago. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
I don't know if it was in TNA or if it was like early WWE days when AJ was like jobbing, but yeah, man, Dusty was still wrestling. I was a kid, and I remember my dad, who was also a wrestling fan, took us to some kind of house show in Massachusetts, and like I saw Dusty Rhodes fight as a kid. Like he was still fighting, like into the, I want to say like maybe up until like 2008, 9, maybe he hit 2010. I don't know.
Wow.
But the American Dream, you know, is definitely looking down on his son, who won in the main event, which is the perfect transition to talk about Cody and Roman. We already kind of, you know, shared our opinions on this, but
oh my god, yeah, that was.
You can go first before I just start fanboying over this perfection.
So I mentioned this too. I did like my research. I rewatched WrestleMania 39. So I wanted. By the way, that was so cool. I think that has to be one of my favorite stages. Which, you know, I had an idea. I don't know about to talk to you about it yet. But what if I've seen it online before? I've seen people do like tier lists of like WrestleMania logos, WrestleMania like set of stages. Maybe we could do that one day. That'd be pretty cool. But like WrestleMania 39's like stage was so cool to see. And it makes sense because the Lincoln Financial Field's a smaller stadium, so they couldn't really go all out. But I love the stage. I love the big XL that was there, so it was still cool to see. But where's it going with this? Oh yeah, but I rewatched that, and you know, seeing Cody lose, like it's just like, oh, it's heartbreak. So instantly, you know, the second that they start doing the intros for both fighters, you know it's gonna go down. And you know, we have Cody wearing the skull as he rises out, and then Brandy comes out next to him, and everyone's cheering and popping out. And then to be able to go, whoa, in person.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. There was way too many times we did that. It was
probably
so cool.
15 times.
Yep, probably. And then Roman come out with like the whole choir and band playing him and his special glazer. I mean, special counsel, the wise man, Paul Heyman, which by the way, Hall of Famer Paul Heyman. By the way, like he has to be like one of my favorite people now too. Like just seeing. Have you ever seen that the interview he did with Stephen A. like a couple of years back?
Yes.
Him and Roman were on First Take, and like the already like Stephen A. is just like, I want to be you. I want to be the wise man. It's like, well, you can't be because I'm the GOAT. He's like, why are you the GOAT? Like, because I'm with him. I'm like, oh shit. That was just seeing them walk out, the aura, the entire arena knew that this was the ultimate fight. This was the last battle of this chapter of the story, and it was so cool to see. And for a while, for the first part, before all the craziness happened, it was a good fight. You know, everyone was they both were going back and forth until finally Roman pulled out the crossroads, and we were like, whoa, he's using his own move. What's going on here? But then I told him too. I said, all right, he did that. I know Cody's gonna try to do a spear.
He called it.
Boom.
He called it
right there. Cody went for the spear, got him like twice, I think. And it was just, they were just going at it. It was so cool to see.
Yep. Yeah, and the spear, so it was, the first one was in the ring. That was one that you called. But then later in the match, trust me, I've watched this match like 5 times back already. Like, it's so good. He spears Roman again through the barricade on the outside.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
And I was scared because, like, the way that he fell, I was like, oh no, Cody pinned his arm. He's going to, like, tear his rotator cuff or something. But nah, like, they made it out unscathed. But yeah, as you said, it was definitely a good fight. Not even like doing research for the podcast or anything. I was just kind of in a black hole, as I've been all week, just watching wrestling clips. I actually rewatched the WrestleMania 39 fight right before this podcast because it just happened to be the way that I followed the rabbit hole. And I can agree. I think that match was really good at 39, but obviously it was just so soul crushing when Roman wins.
Yeah.
In terms of pitting the two matches against each other, I don't know which one necessarily had the best wrestling. I do think 40 also had great wrestling. Roman and Cody put on a show, not even counting the interferences that come later, which we'll talk about. I just think they have really good chemistry. Like, I think they're a really good rivalry, and that speaks for itself when they've only fought each other twice. Yeah. Like, Seth and Roman are a really good rivalry, but they're just destined to always battle. They've probably fought upwards to like 20 times at this point. I don't even know what the number is. So I'm not saying that's bad, but there's just something about natural rivals, you know? And like, if you only clash once or twice, but it's that memorable, you are a natural rival. And that is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
No, 100% for sure. Just like I mentioned before too, the aura of like both of them like just fighting was insane. And then, you know, of course, as it happened last year too, it's bloodline rules, so of course interference starts to happen. You know, Cody's trying to go for, I don't know if it's a crossroads or something, but all of a sudden you see Jimmy Uso come out of nowhere, pick Cody in the face or something, and it's like, all right, come on, we got him, let's go. And then instantly they start ganging up, but then who comes to save the day?
It's just me, day one. The second Jay came out, I knew that opened up the floodgates. Avengers Endgame was gonna begin, and from there, the rest is history, man. Jay they're battling. They had a better match on the stage on night 2 than they did in their entire match at night 1, man.
I forgot, yeah. Exactly, for a forgettable match, which is unfortunate.
Really hurt because night 1, the match I was looking forward to most wasn't even the tag match. It was Jimmy versus Jay, so I was very disappointed and sad. But Jay takes out Jimmy with a spear. What do you know? What happens next? Solo Sikoa with a thumb to the throat, just like WrestleMania 39. You think it's over, but
the new tribal chief, perhaps?
The new tribal chief. I saw that Monday Night Raw. That they are cooking with the new bloodline. But Solo's doing his beatdown. I knew it. I knew the rumors. I saw the picture of Stone Cold and John Cena on the truck way back when Rock was beating Cody's ass. I knew Cena had unfinished business with Solo after losing. What happens? Hits the spike. Cody kicks out. He's yelling. He's yapping at
mad.
Roman.
He's so mad.
Finish it, Roman.
Do it now.
And Roman goes, I know. And then he hits the spear. What happens? Cody kicks out. And then you hear, do 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 do. Oh my god!
You see him running or hobbling down the ramp.
Yeah, Cena's aging. You could tell that was more of a leisurely,
brisk walk
jog.
Yeah.
Does his shit, takes out Solo. That was the first instance where I could taste blood in my throat because we were screaming so loud.
We were like, does an attitude adjustment on Roman too.
Oh.
That was insane. And then Solo through the table.
Immediate AA through the table, and as you're popping off, you can't even recover. You hear it gets some mail. I'm like, oh my god! I couldn't even stop the clip on my phone. I had to keep recording because I knew what this meant. I knew that the voices were in the air. Hear them loud and clear. John Cena and The Rock were coming face to face once again.
Once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime. JK, twice in a lifetime. JK,
Multiple
WrestleMania
times.
40, three
Multiple
times in a
lifetime.
lifetime. John Cena
Multiple
and
times.
Rock come face to face. There were so many edits I've already sent Knight about.
Oh my god,
like,
yeah,
like,
they're so cool, yeah.
voices in the air, and like as they're like
Like-
turning their head, it like clips
like-
to the old match from 2012.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, man.
I'm getting old.
Such a cool memory.
Incredible, locking eyes, rock bottom. Cena's out of the equation. The Shield music hits. I'm not gonna lie, I'm with the majority. I thought Dean Ambrose came from AEW. I was
We're
like,
like, what?
John Moxley's here. Next thing you know, we're looking. Where is he? Seth Rollins gets fucking taken out. He didn't even.
But here's the cool thing too. Like people said, like or analyzing the fight, they said he finished his job, which was he brought a chair into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wanted. That's all he had to do. Seth was beating the hell up from after the tag team match, then also getting fucked up by Drew McIntyre too. So of course the dudes being held together by tape at this point, literally like hobbling on into the ring. So it gets taken out by Roman, of course, and then just when you thought all hope was lost.
Cream of the crop, man. The cream of the crop. Everyone's chanting Austin. Me, myself included. I thought Stone Cold and the glass was gonna shatter. Which, hear me out. I do think that would have made it a perfect night. That might be controversial. I do think it's not even a hot take because I think a lot of people feel that way. I just feel like Stone Cold and The Rock are like, again, I was talking about earlier, Cody and Roman being natural rivals. That's Roman. That's The Rock and Stone Cold. We're all expecting Stone Cold, but you hear the gong.
Dong. And we're like, oh,
and it's
my
the Undertaker. Now, what popped me there was, first off, Undertaker's legendary, the streak, WrestleMania, but it was a surprise. I wasn't expecting Undertaker. So you're chanting Austin. You don't hear the crowd boo the Undertaker. You hear the crowd pop off, the loudest pop off of the night, because that's the beautiful thing about wrestling is sometimes, man, you
don't
just
know.
get surprised. You just get surprised. Undertaker comes out, choke slams The Rock. I love, like I said, I've watched this match like 5 times. I love The Rock's facial expressions when like Undertaker comes out. He turns around, he's like, the final boss. And then as he turns, like, fucking jumps.
And then she's like,
and
yeah.
And then the choke slam, and he's like, The Rock has the best facial expressions in all of WWE. Choke slam, Undertaker, dong, disappears. You see him running away in the vertical video online. The Undertaker running out. And then the most beautiful moment of the match, Roman has the chair. He could hit Cody, finish the story, continue his reign. But he holds the grudge from probably a decade ago now when Seth Rollins broke up the Shield and he hit Seth. This man is destroyed. This man's body is cooked. But Seth was able to beat Cody's Shield like he promised. He kept his word. True brother, Seth freaking Rollins. Giving Cody the opportunity to counter the spear, hit 3 crossroads, and finish the story. As Michael Cole says on the call, that was
a great
story. Beautiful. And then the pop off, everyone's happy. Storybook, man. Like, that's something that Dusty could never achieve. That's something that Cody had to work his ass off to achieve literally his whole career. Like I said, I've been watching since 2005. I believe Cody debuted 2007, 8, somewhere in there. I watched Cody's first match way back, man. Like, I've seen Cody come from the start where he looked like a default wrestler. Like, literally, if you were to create a wrestler on WWE, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, Cody Rhodes the default guy. Evolve up to, the legacy with Randy Orton, the tag team titles, Intercontinental Championship, having a mustache, being dashing, wearing a bag over his head, leaving WWE. Oh, I can't. Before he left WWE, he was Stardust. Then he leaves WWE, goes on to all these other promotions like Ring of Honor, New Japan, starts AEW. I watched Cody from the ground up in AEW 2019 up until he left in 2022, like the start of 2022. Last match was Sammy Guevara. Shows up, fights Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He's back. Story goes on from there. You guys know how it goes. But it was just a really cool culmination. As I was watching WrestleMania 39 earlier today, I was also in that same rabbit hole watching a lot of like Dusty Rhodes clips. Dusty Rhodes like Hall of Fame ceremony where Cody inducts him. A couple backstage segments with Dusty and Cody, and it's just really cool, man. Like, it's really cool, and it shows how fast time's going. It shows, you know, the underdog, the hard working man, Cody Rhodes. If he can do it, so can you. All these kids are about to be so inspired. Me at 25, I'm inspired. I started a podcast, and I'm ready to finish my own story in so many different ways. It was very inspiring, very feel good. You had Michael Cole crying at the announce table. Samantha Irvin is choked up saying, no! Like, just the whole, you know, company and wrestling community felt that emotion. And, you know, all hail, acknowledge the tribal chief. He put on one hell of a title reign. Even if it's controversial, even if he was missing, you know, only fought 3 times a year, whatever it was, he still, you know,
he still did, dude. Like, how many days? 1,000 something?
4 years, just about, or something like that.
Yeah,
crazy amount.
Wow.
But
he deserves some rest for sure. He deserves rest.
For sure.
Seth and Becky deserve rest. A lot of these guys deserve rest. But like you said too, the story's just beginning. The story continues. Cody embarking on a new journey. Unfortunately. The Raw after WrestleMania, you know, Rock appears one more time. Says he's gotta go back to Hollywood. He's gotta go back and dance in Moana 2.
That Moana dance 2 dance is crazy because the caption was like, "How does man go from beating Cody Rhodes' face into doing this shit?" And Rock's doing it.
Hey. So crazy. Rock's back in Hollywood for the time being. I mean, the theories are running wild on what's the matchup's going to be for SummerSlam and for, you know, WrestleMania 41. I think we're going to see, and based on just what we're seeing so far with, you know, the bloodline and everything, I'm thinking we're going to see Rock versus Roman at some point, whether it's at SummerSlam or if it's at WrestleMania 41. I think there's got to be a feud. There's got to be something's cooking, something big going on, and I'm very excited to see what happens with it afterwards.
For sure. Well, we are going a little heavy on the podcast, so we should start wrapping up. But we were able to recap WrestleMania 40 Night 2. Incredible experience. Like I said, like, it might sound sad to some of you listeners, but that straight up was one of the best nights of my life. I will remember that night for the rest of my life. The cheering. Literally, I don't know the last time I jumped up and down and screamed like a kid. Like, I don't remember what brought that out of me. Maybe when, like, the Patriots came back against the Falcons in the Super Bowl. That was probably the last time I screamed and jumped. Okay?
Wow.
Which, that would have been 2017. So, almost, 8 years since I've, like, gone crazy like that. WrestleMania 40 brought it out of me again. I've already said this off camera, but I do want to just thank my boy Knight, you know, for joining up, hosting me in the city of brotherly love for WrestleMania 40.
Of course.
A week later, I'm still riding the high. I'm still listening to Kingdom on loop in the car rides to work. I'm still rewatching the main event match anytime I have. And I'll still be watching wrestling, as I always have. I'll be watching AEW, WWE, sprinkles and clips of New Japan and all the different companies, because at the end of the day, I don't want to say I'm an AEW stan or a WWE stan. I'm just a wrestling fan.
And that's what matters. Yeah,
I definitely hope to see my boy continues to watch. It sounds like you want to. You already talking about the future with SummerSlam and WrestleMania. And over time, you know, we're going to get back together on this Story Continues podcast, talk about these upcoming events. As we draw closer to any WWE live event, starting with Backlash, we will do some type of podcast short video just discussing predictions, hopes, after the show, reactions. That's really what I want to do with this Matt RDK channel going forward. You guys really enjoyed the WrestleMania 40 content, and I enjoyed making it. And I realized at this event, WrestleMania 40, that I have the strong passion for it. I can share it with people like Knight, and all over online, and it's not even said it. He texted me, said, I knew that was your calling. It feels like my calling.
Yep.
I just got to make that wrestling content. It's time. I don't know why I haven't started it sooner, but Cody and the story brought it out of me. We are here with this podcast.
Damn right.
We didn't get to talk about WWE World. Maybe we'll do a separate podcast video, something about that.
We can talk about it later because there's all sorts of great stuff happening there too, even if it was for a short amount of time. Also, shout out Pat McAfee. Met him for the first time ever. I think that's another point too of why I will continue following wrestling, because he's the best of both worlds. He's he's a commentator, but he's also part of WWE, but he's also big sports guy. This is his daily shows that I watch, and he talks about all things sports. And he likes my hair, so therefore I am now the biggest Pat McAfee fan ever. I have it right here. I didn't have anything for him to sign for me, so I got him to sign my receipt.
Keep receipts, brother.
So you gotta keep the receipt, brother. Shout out to you, Pat, if you're watching this.
Oh yeah, and I quote a classic Michael Cole quotation right there. Pat McAfee said, "Hey, cuz got nice hair," and end quote. From the lips of Pat McAfee. And Cody actually said, ESPN's golden boy. I like that name for Pat McAfee because he's definitely the golden goose for ESPN with his show, being a former NFL player, having this connection to WWE, doing Raw every damn week. That's a busy man, and he's definitely, the golden boy of the sports industry, dare I say.
For sure,
I don't know, other than maybe Stephen A. Smith, I don't know who has more influence as like an analyst in the sports world than Pat McAfee.
Yeah, because they cover everything. When I think of like other people, I kind of think of like the inside the NBA crew, like Ernie Johnson, but they're kind of more basketball oriented because that's what they focus on. Whereas like Stephen A. does all things sports. Yep. Pat McAfee does all things sports too. So I feel like those are like your go-to guys for that type of thing.
For sure. So, yeah, I mean, there definitely would be a lot more to talk about with WWE World, which was a really cool convention experience. I did post a short or two with that. And Knight has this clip with Pat McAfee to hold and cherish for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're going to end the pilot there, man. The story will continue. Today's story might be finishing, but the story will continue with this podcast, with wrestling, with WWE, AEW, being a wrestling fan. If you love wrestling, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, all that good stuff, because the wrestling content's coming, man. I don't know what form will dominate it, whether it's podcasts, shorts, videos, but the content's coming. And I hope to have recurring guests, hosts, however much my boy Knight wants to join. He's more than welcome. If he keeps watching.
Maybe you could be the next guest, whoever's watching.
Yes, exactly. If you're a wrestling fan, comment, hit us up. We would love to have you on for more discussions and keep this channel growing, build some steam. But I think that's it. It's finally time to put a nail in the coffin to the masterpiece that was WrestleMania 40. I felt, at least internally, that until this podcast episode happened, I'm going to just reminisce about it. But now that we've done this, I think it's finally time that I stop listening to Kingdom on loop in the car. I think I'm finally gonna play some other music.
Yeah, you're gonna play Rock's theme. You're gonna play the Hollywood Rock theme.
The final boss.
The final boss.
Burn.
There you go. Yep.
All right, that's it from your boy Matt RDK, and from Night Sky Esteban,
Hustle, loyalty, respect,
Philadelphia boy. That is
the story.
Boom. That is the story. Continues. Episode 1. We'll see you guys for episode 2 and some shorts and other content. And enjoy whatever wrestling show is happening. Maybe this didn't go up until Monday, so enjoy Raw tonight. Maybe it went up Sunday. Enjoy Raw tomorrow. Enjoy all wrestling, all things wrestling. But until then, peace out. And I don't know. I mean, stay radical. Like I'm not.
No.
Really
How about
channel?
How about enjoy your story? How about that?
Enjoy your story. We'll work on it. We're gonna leave that open-ended.
Make your own story. I don't know.
The story continues. Peace out.
See you.